Hello friends, welcome to my beginner guide here. So this will be a complete guide to get you started, kind of get you on the right direction. You may notice that I am a level 30 right now, which is not exactly a beginner, but basically what this guide is designed to do is to basically help you with things that took me a little while to figure out with the game, so that you can get started quickly and that you can basically get off on the right foot and start winning battles against other bots and ultimately have a lot of fun with the game, because you'll be winning hopefully more than you're losing. So basically, to get started here, what we have is we have a few different things going on. In the middle section here, there's a little blue button that has like almost like one of those action clip things where you can actually, if you press this button, you can actually watch a video, and what it'll do is it'll actually speed up your upgrade for whatever weapon it is that you actually that you're working on right now. Right now I'm working on a weapon that's called the Orkin. So what you'll notice in the game here is that you'll notice the game actually has a variety of different types of weapons. There's what's called silver weapons, which essentially the silver on the top left-hand side, it's also known as AG, but mostly people just call it silver because that's essentially what it is, which is it's just called AG in the game or whatever. Also, the gold in the middle, it's also known as AU. Like I said, most people just call it gold. And then on the right-hand side, to the right of the gold is a little triangle-shaped thing, or it looks like a molecule or something like that. That's what they call workshop points. So on the left-hand side, you'll see the similar icon. You can go into the workshop. You can accumulate these resources. Essentially, you build these up over time. And then you can purchase bots and weapons that are specialized for these types of points, or there's certain offers where you can actually where you see the little like percentage sign there, where you can actually go in and you can actually purchase like component points for higher end bots and weapons. I typically do that as well. As you can see, I've already done that for today as well a couple times. Now basically, you might start out with a lower bot. You might start out with like something like, if we go to the store, they're probably going to start you out with a lower end silver bot, something like this, the Vitellas. Basically, what this bot is, it's a well-rounded bot for what it is. It's on the lower end, so to speak. I mean, if you upgrade it a little bit, you could probably get away with hanging on to it for a little while. You might want to move into something like a Golem, or you might move into like a Gareth or a Jesse or something. But eventually, once you start kind of winning battles and accumulating, you can work your way up to a boa. Nice thing is the boa, it has a good amount of armor. It's a little on the slow side, and it only has essentially two weapons. It carries a heavy and a medium. So basically, what you want to do is hopefully eventually get to the point where you can purchase some higher end bots. What you'll notice is that some of them cost silver, some of them cost gold. The Galahad is a pretty decent bot. However, it costs a lot of gold, so you just want to be careful. Try to make wise selections. Essentially, what I would recommend is the Leo. The Leo, it might take you a little while to build up that much silver, but silver is accumulated pretty quickly. So you'll notice that. That essentially, for example, I have 104 million right now. So you're probably not going to really run low on silver for the most part, because you basically get silver with whatever you do, essentially. So So all of my bots that I have here right now are all silver bots, so they're all purchased with AG or silver. And then basically, at one point it was mostly Leos, or pretty much all Leos, but I've pretty much exchanged those in for Griffins, because what I found out is that essentially Griffins, they have a pretty nice jump ability that I underestimated. The jump ability, it actually you know, it's kind of misleading. It jumps, the bot actually jumps really, really far. So you can essentially close in on your enemies really quickly. You know, initially I didn't really think that would be very helpful, you know, early on in the game, but I find out that it works really well. Not only to jump forward towards your enemy or backward away from your enemy to retreat, but also side to side to essentially make it harder for the enemy to target you. And it ends up working very nicely. And I'm going to go through the weapons that these particular bots have. Now starting with the one all the way on the left hand side, this particular Griffin, this one has the Griffin carries 2 medium weapons and 2 light weapons. Now the 2 medium weapons that I have are Tulumbas, and what those are is they're essentially like rocket launchers. And basically there's a lot of different types of rocket launchers in the game. So you know, I'll go through the different types. These ones, if you look at the Tulumbas first, basically I've paired these together because both of these particular types of rocket launchers, the medium and light ones that I have, the Tulumbas and the pins that I have, which are the light ones on top, they actually have a large area of effect. And so basically what that means is that if like a target's like hiding, like if an enemy's like hiding behind like something like a building or something like that for protection, it has such a large area of effect, it can essentially still like hit the enemy. Also, the range is 500 meters, which is pretty good for a rocket launcher. The downsides is that it only holds 8 rockets for this one, and for the pin it's right around the same. You know, it's on the lower end, and you know the reload time is, you know, it's pretty high, you know, as far as that goes. And it only does 4.3 rockets per second. So it's, you know, but as far as that goes, it's nice. It's nice for, you know, tougher enemies. You know, you can get them from a little bit farther away, and you know, and you can essentially do a lot of damage. Now, as far as so essentially the pins are paired up with it as well, because they're very similar to the Tulumbas there. Now, as far as this Griffin, the next one, this one actually has all workshop, all those other weapons. I believe those are all silver weapons. But as far as these weapons are all workshop weapons. So what you're looking at is, you know, they're very close range. You know, the Terran and the Magnum. The Terran fires very, very rapidly. The Magnum not so much. You know, the Magnum's more like, it's like, you know, essentially more, each hit is, you know, does a little bit more damage. But essentially the Terran is a very good weapon as far as like close range, and you can really destroy a lot of enemies very quickly with these weapons. And they're paired up because they're both close range, and they both do a lot of damage very quickly. It's very, very handy. The nice thing about the Terrans is that, unlike the rockets, they tend to essentially, when you're jumping sideways especially, you can still, you know, the accuracy of your aim is a lot better a lot of the time than the next weapons I'm going to show you, which are the Orkans and the Pins. Now, the Orkans and the Pins, these are also rocket launchers, but these ones, the Orkans are are gold weapons. I believe the pins are, or I'm sorry, the pinatas rather. The pinatas, not the pins. The pins are the other ones. These are the pinatas. And essentially, these are different than the pins and the tulumbas because they're both the pinatas and the Orkans are both very close range rockets, but they also hold, you know, the Orkan holds a large amount of rockets. The Orkan actually holds 32 rockets, which is a lot, and the rate of fire is about double of what the Tulumbas and the pins are. So essentially, you're looking at doing a lot of damage with this weapon in a very short period of time. It also has a medium area of effect, which is, you know, it's still pretty good. I was thrown off at first by the reload time, because the reload time is 23 seconds. But so it's a little misleading because essentially you could fire a few of them at a time, or you can fire the whole load very quickly. So, 23 seconds, that's only from like, if you completely empty the whole rocket launcher and then you have to build it all the way back up again. So it's, just want to be careful. Also, when you look at the damage on the left-hand side, you have to keep in mind that sometimes that's like per shot. So like it's per rocket. So if you times that by the full capacity by 32, then you get the idea. I mean that's quite a bit of damage. So each rocket doesn't necessarily do a lot of damage per se, but there's a lot of them. So I mean it ends up doing as a whole a lot of damage in a short period of time. Now as far as the next bot, I still have one Leo left that I'm still using. It's pretty. I like to say it's pretty decked out. The Thunder is kind of like a big shotgun. It says that the range is like 500 meters, but if you have a target that's at 500 meters, it's really not going to do very much damage. You want to kind of get closer with it. Same thing with the Gust. The Gust is actually a higher end weapon as well. The Thunder, I believe, is a silver weapon. The Gust is more of like a component weapon. So I actually believe I won that in like a chest or something. So, the Gust is a very good weapon as well. Similar to the Thunder, it's kind of like a mini shotgun. The aphids or aphids, those are rocket launchers as well, but they're a little different. They actually lock onto the target and they'll kind of follow the target, and they can actually go over obstacles. They're very short range. You'll notice that a lot of players prefer short range because a lot of times the damage is higher. Like you can see, this is, even though it's only level 8, it's over 13,000 damage per shot. So it's quite a bit of damage. In this case, it's not really per rocket. It just fires a bunch of little rockets in like a spread. So it's just collectively, I believe that's essentially the collective amount of damage. But a lot of times you end up hitting the targets, if you can get an open area with minimal obstacles, you can pretty much do all of that damage in one shot. So, it ends up being pretty devastating. Now, as far as, these weapons, they might be, they might be a little ways away. So you might have to start out with something a little bit lower and kind of work your way up. But I'm just giving you an idea on kind of what to aim for, because, essentially you want to make sure to have a little bit of a direction when you're kind of going through and playing the game, what you're working towards. And so these are very good weapons for someone that, like myself, that's in I'm like the gold league here. So I'll show you what league I'm in. Yeah, so I'm in the gold league, and there's so you start out with kind of like the private league, and then you go to bronze, silver, and then gold. We work up to diamond, expert, master, champion. So I'm on my way. I'm in the gold league, but this will kind of get you started, let you know what the next step is, so to speak. Now as far as this goes, Coming back to upgrades, like I said, you want to try to you have to try to keep your weapons upgraded. So you want to try not to, go just buy any weapon that you possibly can and just kind of try to upgrade like all of the weapons, as you go. You want to try to pick like some good weapons, like some of the ones we talked about, and make sure you keep them as upgraded as possible. You want to try not to, on the right hand side, there's like the supply drops, that's going to provide you with event currency. In this case, the event currency is like red, like little key cards or whatever. So each one of those events essentially lasts like 30 days. The last event actually had like blue key cards, so I don't believe they're like interchangeable or anything like that. So you just want to be careful not to like invest too much into that. But as far as on the left hand side, on the bottom, the little box icon with the red exclamation point, that one essentially has that's like the black market, and basically when you get the little event currency, like the key cards or whatever, you can use those to purchase like chests, and when you open the chests, you can win items. I'd recommend personally to go for the 100 items if you can. You might even want to save up for the thousands once in a while, but I go for the 100s at this point because essentially gold items, like if I were to win gold items right now, that would be good for me. You might think that like getting a lot of silver items in the beginning, that might be good to get you started. I just want to be careful not to like keep doing that, for too long, because you want to try to get like better items, So as far as that goes, there's like a progress meter. Essentially, it builds up to like a super chest. It's pretty difficult to get the super chest. So, you pretty much have to you really have to work towards that. It's definitely possible. As far as on the top left-hand side, where the shield breaker icon is currently, it kind of changes. There's different things available. It might say terminal velocity or whatever. You get one of these every day. Basically, what it is basically it's like you can win items. It's another way you can win items. So you go to get it now. You can exclude the items you don't want. In this case, at this point I'm excluding silver. I'm trying to get gold and trying to get different, other items and things like that. But basically, what you want to do here is you want to go through each one, and to avoid having to buy tokens all the time, try to basically touch on each one of these items and just try to do one or two, purchase one or two of the items, or try to guess one or two of them each time, and just keep in mind that it happens every day, so you don't really have to worry about going too crazy on that. Now the exclamation point on the left hand side, the blue one with the number 3, that one is like your daily bonuses. So if you were to add, like we talked about, I typically add progress, or I try to reduce the upgrade time for the weapons. This is also a good way to use your video speed up times. Basically, this will help you to be able to get more gold quickly, which gold is obviously very useful. Helps you to kind of upgrade the weapons more quickly. You can purchase weapons, bots, things like that. And then as far as the rest of this goes here, basically that's pretty much it for the beginner guide. Just a couple last things we'll touch on. Like I said, you have the supply drops. Those happen basically every few hours or so, and then and it gives you a little bit, gives you some silver and gives you some event currency. You can use that, to unlock the chests. Under the chest, on the chest icon, the black market again, there's a storage icon on the top right hand side. That's where you keep track of your components that you collect, the little puzzle pieces for each like weapon or bot that you're trying to work towards. So that'll help you to kind of monitor the progress there. I'd recommend to join a clan. I'm actually a member of the Silent Death clan. Oh, Silent Death clan. So, you know, I recommend to join a clan. You can kind of get more tips from your clan mates and things like that. And then as far as that goes, I mean, that should be enough to get you started. Like I said, just pick a few good weapons, kind of, you know, make sure they're upgraded. Each weapon actually, you know, if you learn how to use it really well, does a really good job of destroying other bots and things like that. Try to avoid like overbuying like weapons that you don't need and overbuying bots that you don't need. As you can see, I mean, I actually have a lot of extra bots in my hangar that I don't use. I'll show you, you know, some of the ones that, you know, like I have the Raijin, which is actually a really good bot with dual Zeuses. The Zeuses are good weapons too. They're gold weapons, but I don't even really use it right now, even though it's like level 6 basically. It's a really good bot. You know, I have other bots that I'm using. You know, I have some Leos in here, have a Butch. Got this as a special promotion, but it's only level 1 right now, so I don't want to spend a lot of time like upgrading this particular bot. Plus it takes 4 heavy weapons, so I mean, I don't really have, you know, I don't really want to use up that amount of weapons on this particular bot right now. So I have, you know, a few other bots, like Fujin, things like that. But like I said, I mean, you just have to kind of, you know, it takes time. You know, you have to kind of pick the bots you want to stick with for right now, the ones that work, and then if you end up doing really well, then maybe you'll have extra, you know, resources that you can kind of bring in. You know, bring 1 or 2 more, you know, bots in and kind of upgrade them over time. But you know, it takes time. So you know, this concludes the beginner guide. And if you could subscribe to my page and like my page, I really appreciate it. Again, my name is Swift, and Too Swift for You is my name on the game. Hope you guys have a great day and enjoy the game.